Today we have the representation of one of his friends, one of Chavez's friends, with whom he had a very close relationship beyond our borders. Today we have here with us Rafael Correa, former president of Ecuador, very close friends to former President Chavez. March the 5th, 2013 was a very hard hit. It was a deadly blow to our hearts. Those were verses from Miguel Hernandez that struck us very hard when we learned the news that our friend Hugo Rafael Chavez Frias, president of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, had passed away. He freed this country from the hands that had always exploited the country. He was a revolutionary man that became legend. He was a friend and a brother. From his native land, Sabanetas, Barinas, he walked this land feeling the poverty on his own flesh. He founded on Bolivar's 200th anniversary, he founded a front to fight against injustice. When life and destiny put him in front of a Bolivarian and Venezuelan people, he had the strength to lead a revolution of conscience, of faith in Latin America. The same way my fellow countryman sang to Bolivar, today I want to sing to Chavez. This people misses and loves you. Hugo Chavez always demonstrated great devotion and love for his people. I met Hugo in 2005 in one of the many summits we attended as presidents, while many of their peoples continued in the abyss. I was a young and vibrant economy minister in Ecuador. To pretend having a fair policy for the people was very difficult. I followed Hugo Chavez from the very moment he won the elections against all odds. And with that, he began a cycle of hope that extended all throughout our Latin America. This region became an example for the world. All our presidents had a fraternal and complicit relationship. He had tried to defend his people with the weapons from this Cuartel de la Montaña. Cursed be the soldier who turned his weapons against his own people, he said. He was a man that, following on the footsteps of Simón Bolívar, wanted to free his people from poverty and inequity. But that doubt was dissipated on April 2022. Venezuelan people went to the streets to release Chavez. When I came to him in Asunción, I noticed surprise in his face. Here I have in front of me an economy minister educated in the United States, trying to, with his personal greatness, he gave me his total support. His support soon became true friendship, and this friendship only grew over time. Men and women who lead revolutions will always be considered as polemic figures. Today, no one can stop doing it. It is impossible to try to free our peoples from 200 years of poverty without being polemic. We have the words of Saint Ignatius Loyola, and I remember every talk, every conversation when Uribe in Colombia, his passion for turning Alba into the voice of America, of Latin America. I always could count on his support and his strength. I trusted him and looked up to him as a big brother. Today, it is his beloved country, the one that suffers a brutal blockade, an attack. We need to give credit to the Bolivarian armed forces. When they have a blockade from foreign powers and they cannot defeat a developing country, is thanks to its armed forces. They have tried to do this in Cuba, Nicaragua, and Venezuela, and they haven't been able to. Congratulations to the Venezuelan armed forces. They know that if they try to invade Venezuela, they will find another Vietnam. They have tried to do it with these brutal sanctions and blockade, and they have stolen Venezuela decades of development and stability. These very great people that supported Hugo will be able to triumph. Venezuela will triumph at the end, and with Venezuela, all the peoples of Latin America. On July 2022, we were in Salinas for the 9th binational cabinet, a meeting we held among friend governments. We were waiting for breakfast, and although Hugo was not precisely a very punctual man, it was too much this time. When he finally arrived, he could barely walk. He made a really good hard effort because of a pain he was suffering. He traveled to Cuba to get medical attention, and soon after we learned about his disease. Months after, we traveled with the Ecuadorian ambassador to a Cuban clinic, and then we went to visit Fidel. And he had to share the news with us, although it was confidential, that this type of cancer was lethal. Nicolas Maduro, as Venezuelan vice president in that moment, gave the news to his people. 4:25, President Hugo Chavez has passed away. We transmit this pain to all our people. And in this very sad moment, we call all Venezuelan people to be guardians of peace and respect. The message broke my soul. Although we learn very well, the ones who die for life are not really dead. The ones who die defending lives continue living. This will echo through the centuries in the voices of women, soldiers, poets, militants, students and workers, indigenous and peoples and farmers. As every giant, he was able to do the greatest deeds without, and he still remained very tender. We have this verse that reveals his moral stature, and then, only then, at the end of my life, will I be here for you, and I would find comfort in your motherly love, and I would tell you about my pains, and then you would spread your arms and hug me. You would sing a tender song to me, and you would take me elsewhere. And now it is you, dear Hugo, who are sought after. Your father, Don Hugo de Reyes, your brothers, your children are looking for you, and they find comfort in your love as a father, a child, and a brother. Dear Hugo, you were loved by a majority with passion. You were hated by a minority with fanaticism, but you were noticed by everybody. That is the destiny of transcendent men. We will continue to play forbidden games following your example. We will continue living without having a price. You wake up when the people wakes up. I say, all my life, and by the love of my people, I will devote until the last second to the fight for democracy and the respect of human rights. I swear it. And you were true to your word, Hugo, President and brother. We will meet in eternity, Commander.
Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Rafael Correa por tan
Rafael
hermosas y
Correa
sabias palabras
for his very beautiful words,
que reflejan el sentimiento de los pueblos
a
del mundo,
reflection,
los amigos
the
del
feelings
comandante
of the
Chávez,
peoples
que
of
son
the world,
hermanos de la
friends
patria grande ahora.
to our Hugo Chavez and to our Venezuelan people.
Escucharemos